have you here. I'm Jana Matthews with the Grace Company.
I'm Garrett Grznosnik.
And today we are with Sun Valley Quilts. Welcome, ladies.
Hi there.
How are you?
Great.
Tell
us a little bit about Sun Valley. Yeah, we got a little bit delay, so sorry about that. We're going to try and figure it out, what's going on. But tell us all about Sun Valley Quilts.
Okay. I'm Barbara Kenoyer, and I bought the store 13 years ago. And best decision I've ever made. I think I mentioned last time when I bought the store, I'd never made a quilt in my life. So, go for the gusto and see what happens. It was Lynn that basically talked me into going with the long arm and branching into that area. Again, go for the gusto. Best decision I've ever made. Very happy to be working with you guys always. You're always our support, and we want to always be the customer's support. There's a couple of things that are really important to us is education. So that's always a forte. And the other forte is our customers into the machine that they want, that does what they want it to do, that they can afford and they have the room for. And we're very lucky with Grace. You can match all of those things for us and for them. So we spend a lot of time. Lynn's on the phone, on the media channels, on everything, trying to make things happen really in a good, smooth, comprehensive way for all of our customers. So we're really happy with that.
Excellent. We love working with you.
I love my cutie.
Well, we have a video of your store, so we're going to show that really quick.
Yay. Okay.
That was amazing. I love seeing your shop.
Oh, you see Renee.
Thank you.
Loves it with all the heart emojis. We have people saying the beautiful shop. Also, someone said they saw the cutie. They they got their eye on that in there.
Yeah.
Nice store.
Wow. So, and we also had a lot.
Well, everybody that liked it is welcome to come in and see it personally. We'd love to have fun. We'd love to be able to you. There isn't. It's sometimes I feel like let's stump Lynn and see if we can't come up with something that she can't handle or she can't answer. So far, that hasn't happened, which is a good thing. But I mean, it's wonderful for me to be able to have the confidence in the knowledge that they have and the desires that they have to really make things work and go smoothly, and to be able to have the backup from a company like Grace. We're very, very pleased, very lucky.
Well, we love working with you guys. I mean, you're one of our favorites. We love coming. I know Jarrett gets to come down often and visit for events.
Right.
So it's really great. We love working with Sun Valley.
Yeah.
And not to mention, also, everyone that's watching, there is a show in Scottsdale, Rusty Barnes, coming up. So please come and see us. We'll be there. Me and Lynn will be there, and Barbara will be there. So we'll be happy to talk to you in person and show you what we got there.
And that's the end of August, right? And
Yes.
the first weekend in September, and so the last day of August into September.
Absolutely.
So, and we're actually going to tie in our last giveaway. So some of the giveaways, yes, some of the giveaways we've got going on. First, we're going to do is our pre-registration giveaway. We've got going on for our luminous 10-foot light bar.
September 1st and 2nd.
And then we've got next we've got our giveaway for the luminous light bar, but then we've got the next after that we've got our second giveaway, which is our what are we doing for our second giveaway, Jared?
I thought it was a cutie, wasn't it?
Well, the cutie's the last one.
The last one.
The first one, let's see what we've got here on our giveaway sheet. We've got the True Cut Travel
of course.
Kit.
How could we forget the True Cut Travel Kit?
True Cut. Oh no, actually that was last time. We were doing the Free Motion Starter Kit on
That's
this
also
one.
really excellent as well.
I love that. That's great whether you have a domestic machine or a long arm. It's great for doing free motion. Now, our last event we had the Free Motion Fundamentals Part 1. We're going to be doing Free Motion Fundamentals Part 2 this time. We're also going to be doing some fall pumpkin banners going on. So that's going to be really fun to do. And then we're also going to do, so that's cutting and then quilting. So it's the whole gambit. And then we're going to have that pattern for you to do. We're going to have it available for download. So you can do that fall banner for yourself as well. And then we're going to come back. We'll do a video on the Unique 19X Elite. And then we're going to go to our last giveaway. Normally would be the end of the thing. But so we have everybody that has pre-registered for the event. You are in the running for the cutie with that 4-pack of bungees and 8-pack of thread, finesse thread. But we're also going to have you, if you have a chance to come to the event, we're going to tie it together.
Nice.
You get a second chance to win. So come see Lynn and Barbara and Jarek at the event at the end of August, beginning of September, and you get a second chance to win.
Wow, that's awesome. Another entry to win some really awesome prizes.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we do our first giveaway, the luminous light bar.
Great.
Absolutely.
Great.
Let's see. Let me find we've got our random generator here that's pulling it out. So it's running numbers right now. Go. And our winner is, let's see here.
I got it right.
Okay. I was like, where is it coming up? Mary Allman. So congratulations, Mary. You are the winner of the 10-foot luminous light bar. We have your email, so we will reach out to you and get that going so that we can find out where you'd like us to ship it. But again, Mary Almond is our winner of our 10-foot luminous light bar. So congratulations,
Woo!
Mary.
There you go, Mary.
Very nice.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and the luminous light bar is a 10-foot, but you can also do it as a 5-foot or an 8-foot, whatever size you need it. It has casters or leveling feet. You can also take off the bottom pole and then do it just as the like on a stand on your table. So it's very versatile.
Can they hear us?
So
We don't know.
Oh, we have that.
So yeah. So congratulations.
Somebody from the Netherlands.
Yeah, welcome everybody that's watching us from all over.
Uh-oh.
We lost Lynn and Barbara again. Hopefully we'll get them back. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our first video, the Free Motion Fundamentals Part 2. Again, we did the Fundamentals Part 1 last time. So if you didn't get a chance to see that before, you can watch it again there. This is Carla Jerome. She's doing a great video on how to do free motion work and how to get everything taken care of. So we'll go to that video next.
Welcome to our Free Motion Fundamentals Part 2. I've already introduced you to some thoughts of how you can learn to free motion quilt. Now I'm going to talk about accessories that kind of can help you on your little journey into free motion quilting, and maybe some of them will assist you. But there's so many items and things out there, and I wanted to set the stage for both the mid to long arm machines. So I'm working with our Unique 21 Pro here, and also the domestic machines. So, you know, these accessories will work with both. It's just, there might be differences in your frames and how you shift and move. So I wanted to kind of go through those items. And I want to first talk about the differences in the frame. So we have our rolling frame, which I have our 12-foot continuum right here with our Qnique 21 Pro on. And then we also have our hoop frame over here. If we want to scale over here to this side, right here. Thanks, Chris. With a domestic machine on. Because I wanted to give you a clear look of both of them. So I'm going to start here with the domestic machine. So when you're using, and you can use lasers, and lasers are a great item to follow pantographs if you want to use them. And it's a way for quilters to quilt with some direction and some help, some assistance by following the laser light across your pantograph. It sometimes makes it really easy for quilters to quilt because they have that pantograph and that line drawing. So that is a good way to quilt and to start out with pantographs and just do the same design. And a pantograph is a design that's the same design repeated across your quilt and down your quilt. And so most of the times you will quilt off the edges of your quilt. So as you're shifting your quilt along, you'll just do the same pantograph. What's great about our frames is that you can work using the pantograph from the front of the frame or the back of the frame. And if you have a hoop frame that doesn't have table inserts and you want to work from the back, you will need table inserts if you want to follow the pantograph from behind. Now, you don't need an extra, if you're using a domestic machine or your home sewing machine and it's sitting on this top plate, you don't need to purchase an extra set of handles to work from the rear. Notice how these handles are shaped. So they go, these are the front handles that you can adjust the way you want. But what's nice is that these handles work and they go down and you can work from the back. So it's bent and it has the nice little cushion shifts on them so that you can work from the front or the back. So that is really nice that you don't have to purchase an extra set of handles. These table inserts have some little slits in them. And you'll notice that on the rolling frames that they also have these little slits. These are for another accessory that I'm going to talk later on about, our Pattern Perfect, so that you can adjust the position of the Pattern Perfect. So today I'm just going to talk to you about the fundamentals of these accessories, but I have already done a couple of videos, one on the Pattern Perfect and one with the laser, okay? So if you want to see how to actually use those and some really good points and tips on jumping in and using the laser and the Pattern Perfect, go and watch those videos because I do it step by step. And I tell you a little bit more about the positioning and the placement of it. And I teach you more of the fundamentals of the placement because we don't have a lot of time today and there's so much for me to inform you about. I'm going to move over to the rolling frame and do the bulk of my fundamentals from the rolling frame. But I just wanted to teach you that you can do the same things. You don't have to have a large frame or a long arm machine to use a laser or to use the Pattern Perfect or to use all these. You can quilt like a long arm quilter using your little domestic machine on a hoop frame. So jump in and try it. And now I'm just going to move over here. All right. Okay. So now I'm back over here to my rolling frame and my 21 Pro. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit about these accessories. Where did my laser go? Oh, well, I can't find it. So anyway, the lasers are different from the rolling frame, from the domestic machine to the Qnique machines. The laser that you would purchase with your hoop frame, it's a laser that runs on batteries and it works really well, and you can mount it on the front or the back of your machine or frame. All right, this laser is the Laser Stylus Kit. So what comes with the kit? It's a bracket that you can mount your laser from the back or the front, and it plugs into the front of your front or the top. So if you're interested in finding where your ports are, read your instructions. It'll let you know. All right, so I'm going to use it from the front, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to move to the back as well. But what's nice about our frames, on all of our frames right now, this pole right here, this is the pole that holds your backing. It will extend out this direction, so it gives you a wider quilting area, which is great because that allows you to work from the front rather than the back, so you can see as you're quilting along. When you're working from the back, you will need what we call rear handles. So on the longer arm machines, you'd need a set of rear handles, and you'd have to purchase those, and they mount to the back, and you're working from the back. So you're really focused on what you're following on the back of the machine, and you're not really seeing how it's quilting on the front. So that's what's nice about quilting from the front and being allowed to quilt from the front, those pantographs. You can actually see what's going on, see if your thread breaks. So you don't make it all the way to the end and recognize, oh, dang it, I have to start all over. So yeah, so it's really nice to be able to have the ability to work from the front or the back. And with the rear handles, some of them will come with a screen that mounts to the back, others don't. So you can actually purchase, if you have a set of rear handles and you want another screen, that there's an availability for you to purchase that extra screen so that you can see what's going on from the back. So, okay, I've talked about the laser and I've talked about the rear handles, which are really important, and the table inserts. Let me just show you really quickly what the Pattern Perfect looks like and how it works. So the Pattern Perfect, we have a few different styles of the Pattern Perfect. What's nice about the Pattern Perfect is, let me show you the back, okay, is it gives you what we call these little templates that have designs with little grooves. And you get a stylus that the stylus fits down into the grooves, and you just follow it along all the way across your quilt. If you are uncomfortable and not confident as a quilter and want to be able to quilt beautiful designs, this is a great way to start because it just gives you that ability and that confidence that you need to move across your quilt and create really pretty designs. In this basic set, you get 8 designs. You get it's reversible, so you get 4 designs on the front side and 4 designs on the back. And so you can make even more designs by using like the scallops, and then you could flip them and do the dovetails. So there's a lot of options for you to create beautiful designs just using this basic set. Now we have another set that's really kind of fun. All right, and this is our new set, and it's our flowers and our stars. And on this, I just want to show you really quick. The flowers and the stars, it's reversible as well, but it has 4 different designs. So you see the flowers right here, the stars, and then you get this nice little, I don't know, design that's really fun. And it's got that little spiral in it. And then you get a little spiral design down here, which is smaller, which would work really well on a border of your quilt. And then with the Pattern Perfect, I just want to talk about our additional sets. So if you're looking online, this is called the Popcorn and Swirl. It's really popular and very easy for you to get comfortable with this design. And then all of a sudden you're using these more and more. You get that muscle memory. Then you don't need the Pattern Perfect. You have these designs down. So it's a great way to start and to learn how to quilt using the Pattern Perfect. Okay, so now let's talk about additional ways of quilting, and that is the free motion. and using the laser. And how do you start? Because you're worried about the wobbles and the wiggles that you'll get, and you're not confident in moving across. So if you're concerned about how easily the carriage moves across your quilt as you're quilting, to get some resistance, I have found that if you take this take-up pole, doesn't matter what frame you have, you could even do this on your hoop frames to get a little bit more resistance. You put your take-up pole down so it's touching your arm, the arm of your machine, and that will give you that extra resistance that you need moving across your quilt as you're quilting, and give you that stability. So try that. So with the dual wheels, it moves so freely and so smooth that sometimes if you are just starting out in your quilting journey, that free motion movement is so easy for you to make those little wobbles in your design. And if you don't like those little wobbles on your lines, try putting the pole down on the machine to get that extra resistance. So I have set up a little station here. Just want to talk to you about that. Can everybody see this area right here? All right, so I've got several different designs that I pulled off the internet. You don't need to purchase the designs, and you can pull them off the internet and tape them across, but you have to be very careful. I want to talk to you about designs and what. On the rolling frames, you can choose a little bit more difficult designs. On the hoop frames, because you're shifting your fabric from one section to the other, to use a design that goes in a V shape, up, down, it's a little harder to make sure that you're nice and straight. So for the hoop, for the rolling frames, this is a great design to use. But for the hoop frames, I would stick to designs that go straight across. Just so it will make it easier for you as you're shifting your quilt back and forth, up and down, to make it so that you don't get a big gap or a big space in between. So just watch those designs. That's why I picked some of these, because I thought this little hearts going across were nice and straight, and they would help, you know, move across your quilt. And even if you were off just a little bit, it is so beautifully. Also, these little loops right here, really a fun, easy, cute design, but it gives you something to follow. Now, I set this up right here because we're going to work from the front of our frame, but I haven't threaded my machine because I just want to show you how important it is to trace. By tracing or drawing, and so I have my template plastic here, and I have it on the smooth side. You have a side that's kind of, it's a little rougher, and one side that's a little smoother. So you just want to put my template plastic on across the top and take my dry erase marker, and then I'm just going to try to get this muscle memory. And I'm going to start here where it starts, and I'm just going to move up, come to a point, down, come to a point, down, a point, and just move across. So I kind of get this in my head of the direction that this design is going to be quilted. Because as you're quilting, I don't care if you're a professional and you've been doing it for years and years and years, this is important to understand, because you can be quilting along and lose your place as you're going across. So, you know, this is something that you could do over and over and over again to get the feel. And we're doing the little moon right here. And you know, it's very therapeutic. If you're frustrated or angry, do some doodling. It calms you down. And it's a lot of fun to see what you can do. Okay, so I've traced it, and I will probably go over that several times as I'm quilting. But now I have aligned one right here underneath that I pointed my laser to, the start point, and I've positioned my needle on this upper one, and I've pinned them into place so they're not going to go anywhere. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to practice this design without my needle threaded. So I'm going to come up here, and I positioned my laser. So the reason I moved it from this arm to this arm is because as I was positioning it, you can hit the head of your machine and you won't see your laser. So you'll just see the head of the machine. So make sure that you position your laser, and these handles are really nice because they can extend out. But it's the same thing with working from the back to the front. Just make sure that you have a clearance of this little dot as you're quilting across. So bear with me as I turn on my machine and I start moving, okay? And I'm probably going to go a little slower because I don't know this design that much. And you can slow down your machine to as slow as you want it because we're just tracing. But you know what? Doing it this way, it also gives me the line. But you can also see, I'll take my hand away from here so that you can see how the laser is going around as well. And it's helping me get my muscle memory. And I'm going to come down here. I hope I didn't go the wrong direction. And you can see I'm off a little bit, but that's okay. I'm learning the design. I'm not actually quilting it right now. I'm just showing you a new way. And you can see I'm getting those little wobbles. So by putting my pole down on it, I won't get those little wobbles. I'll get that extra resistance that I want. It's kind of fun. You need to try this. This is a great method to learn your design. And before you know it, you'll be proficient at it. So I'm going to come up here, do my moon. I keep going. This would be a great design for a baby quilt. This moon and the stars. Oops. Oh, well. Just go with it. Don't try to correct it. Now, if you have it threaded, don't try to correct it. Just keep going with it. Because you'll see you're backtracking on it. All right. Turned out pretty good. That was a lot of fun too. So now I'm ready to thread it and move on. So let's give it do we have time to thread it, Nathan? Okay. All right. So, okay. And just thread it right here. Now, if you liked how you did your free motion design on that and you wanted to use a little bit of chalk pounce to pounce in the holes and to give you another little lines to use, or you can use some pins and chalks as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this paper out and I'm just going to pull my thread up. I'm going to bring this right back. Okay, where are we? All right, right here. I'm going to slow my machine down just a little bit, okay? And some people like to use manual mode as well. Manual mode is a little smoother mode. It takes you out of stitch regulation. And so if you want to try manual mode, and just try it when you're tracing, see the differences. So you could trace over this again, try it in regulated precise, try it in cruise, because in cruise you get the needle going up and down and get some extra stitches around your little loops, and it might make it a little smoother than regulated precise, but try all these different modes. You know, don't be stuck with one mode. Oh, don't be stuck with one mode. Hi. make sure that you're experimenting and trying new things. I don't want you to be stuck in that box of quilting the same design over and over again. I want you to explore and enhance your quilting and try new things. And don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to make a few mistakes along the way. That's how we grow as quilters. I mean, you know, as we are learning all of these things, we are going to make mistakes, but their mistakes help us become better as we're quilting. So I'm just going to angle my laser, going to bring my thread up. Okay, here's the test of time. So let me find my laser again. I can't find where my mark is. Where did it go? Oh, you know why? Because my cord right here is covering the little red dot. Let me move my cord back behind or up here. Okay. Now there's my red dot. I have it. Okay. I'm trying to do this one-handed so that you can see as I'm quilting. So I'm just going to do a little tie-off stitch. Needle down, needle up, needle down, needle up. Okay. And now I'm just going to jump in and try it and go for it. And you can see that I'm not exactly on the line. And you know what? I went down and didn't do my 1 star. I'm sorry. Totally forgot about that star there. And this probably isn't going to be the most beautiful, but oh well. It's mine, and I'm proud of it. You guys, this is so much fun to do. I can't tell you. Even though I know it's not perfect, I am enjoying myself so much as I'm quilting this. And I'm learning. That was a little close together, I could tell. Oh well. If I had done my 1 star, it would have been okay. Not bad. It's got some little wobbles and wiggles, but you know what? We'll call it wonky stars there. Anyway, let me just touch on one more thing, okay? I just want to talk to you about another accessory, which I think are awesome and great. And those are our 9-piece foot set and our 3-piece foot set. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about these when I do my advanced ruler, my advanced ruler work, but I just wanted to touch bases and show you all the great things. So with the couching feet, you could add an element to your beautiful quilts of yarn, and there's that minky yarn. Oh, makes cute, wonderful quilts, and couching is a lot of fun. And then you have your square feet that will help you with your rulers. And then in the 3-piece quilt foot kit, one of my favorite feet is the micro stipple, because it allows you to quilt around some intricate appliques or designs, or fill in even a design with little micro stitches. So those are just some more accessories for your free motion quilting that if you haven't tried them and explored using them, try them. You know, use those coupons. I'm all for you getting a good deal on any of these great accessories. And I want you to jump in and try your hand at free motion quilting, because we've got so many things and so many ideas that we want to bring to you to just elevate your quilting. Thanks for joining me now.
Hello, welcome. My name is Janessa and I'm here with the Grace Company. Today we're going to be doing a 2-part class all about our True Cut system, which is the most safe, easy and accurate cutting system on the market. We're really going to be utilizing one of my favorites, which is the TrueCut 360 circle cutter. So we're going to be creating a fall pumpkin banner using our circle cutter. I love this pattern because I wanted to create something really simple and really easy that I could duplicate really quickly to make lots and lots of these for my friends and family. So that's why I wanted to do it just as simple as possible. We'll be doing kind of a raw edge applique as we quilt. If you want to do that needle turn applique, you're welcome to that as well. But that's the process we'll be doing in this specific educational video. So in this class, we'll be going through the cutting, kind of the planning, the fabrics, and then in the second video, we will be going through kind of how to quilt it, how to use the couching foot to do really fun vines, and then at the very end, cutting and assembling our banners. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing, we want to go through and pick our fabrics for our pumpkins. This is always my favorite part. I love picking out the fabrics. When you're doing that, you want to go through and pick fabrics that are kind of in the same tones. Because when you go to the orange section of fabrics, there's a million different tones. There's really brights, there's really darks. There's some with really, really strong prints. For this one, I chose kind of a little bit more muted, a little bit more of a neutral looking orange, but still had some fun prints. If you want to do something really bright and wild, do your thing. This is your banner, so it's totally up to you. I also think it would be really cute to do like little white pumpkins. So yeah, lots of really fun options with this pattern that you can swap out and do whatever you choose. So let's go ahead and get started with cutting. So when I first picked up this 360 circle cutter, I was like, what in the world? Where are all these knobs? What do I do? And it's become one of my absolute favorite products because it is so fun and it's so easy to use. And of course, like all of our TrueCut products, it's really safe, so I don't have to worry about any of my appendages or slicing any of my fingers. So let's go through the different parts. The first is this little knob, which sets how large you want your circles to be. It's basically kind of setting your radius. So we'll go through and you can twist this, and there's a really great ruler along here where you can set your knob. I was cutting my circles at 5.5. But again, if you wanted to do some bigger circles or smaller, it's totally up to you and whatever your preference is. So you go ahead and you tighten it right on that knob. Okay, the next part on the 360 cutter is the actual blade. It's really great because it has a safety feature. So we just open up the lock, and you can see the blade guard. You can easily just take that off, put it to the side, and just remember when you're done cutting to be sure to put it back on so we can make sure that we're being safe. Also, these are really nice because you can very easily just swap out the blade. When you're cutting circles, you really want to make sure you have a nice sharp blade so that your fabric isn't grabbing on that blade. So make sure it's nice and sharp and make sure that your cover is off. And then you just go ahead and just snap it back into place and you're ready to go. Okay, so the really great thing about this cutter as well is you can cut multiple pieces of fabric or multiple layers at one time. I did learn, however, when I was doing that, I was folding my fabric, I was ending up with more waste. So if you want to take your different colors of fabric and layer those and cut it that way, you can. I personally felt like I was being really wasteful when I was like taking this fabric and folding it in half and cutting that way. So it's up to you and whatever your preference is. You want to make sure that your fabric is ironed. I noticed if there was a really strong fold, it would kind of get caught, and then I would end up with weird little edges or things, and my circles weren't exactly perfect. So that's another thing to really keep in mind when you're using this product. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to just place it right here. And this part right here, the circle, is kind of our center point. Like I said, here's our center point, kind of goes out. There's our radius. And there's a very specific way to hold it so that it makes it easier to get all around in a circle so you don't have to readjust your hands. Okay, so what you're going to do is put your, I guess it depends. I'm right-handed, so this is the way I do. It would just be reversed if you were left-handed. So you're going to place right here and press down on the circle. And then you're going to take the blade and just go around in a circle. And Ta-da! Isn't that so fun? I love it. I could just cut circles all day long. I love it. So you'll just go through and cut out all of your circles so that you can then piece it into your many different pumpkins. Again, you could do a whole bunch of this color. You could swap it out like I did here. It is totally up to you and your preference. So I'm doing 5 pumpkins on this banner. You could do more, you could do less. I'm not here to tell you exactly how to do it, just kind of that process. So you'll go through and cut out all your circles, and then we want to do our stems. So let's go ahead. I'm going to fold this up and get it out of the way. And now we're going to move on to our ruler cutting system, which is another one of my favorites. I will be totally honest with you. Cutting fabrics was one of my least favorite parts of the whole quilting process because I would always be wasting fabric. I'd have to redo it over and over and over and just get really frustrated, honestly. So I really have fallen in love with the TrueCut cutting system because it is so accurate. It's super safe. I never have to worry about my fingers. And yeah, I just really love it. So the next part is our stems for the pumpkin. So we'll be cutting the fabric along the lines here and leaving this loop because that's actually what we'll be using to string our banner at the very end. Might sound a little weird right now, but when we get to the second video, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to be using our TrueCut rotary cutter and ruler kit. I really, really love this system because in the past, cutting was always my least favorite part of quilting. In fact, it pushed me away from starting new projects because I just did not want to do the cutting process. I was always wasting fabric. I was cutting it uneven. My ruler would slide out of the way and I would have my cuts all over the place. And I love the TrueCut system because it helps prevent all of those things. The first thing is I have my mat, and behind my mat I have an awesome grip pad that keeps my mat nice and straight so that if I'm putting any pressure on it, it's not going to move out of the way and mess up my cuts. The next is our really great track system that is built into our rulers that keeps our cutters right in line with that guide. It helps keep things really nice and accurate, and of course always super safe too. And the last step in keeping our rulers super accurate is our true grips. These are amazing because they just are applied right to the bottom of the ruler and will keep the fabric or keep your fabric from moving around and keep your ruler nice and straight. So let's go ahead and apply a few of those. So I've got these circle true grips here, and I'm just going to place one in each of these corners. So I've got one there. And you can see on the grid, they've actually made room so that those true grips fit on there perfectly. And this is what will really help keep our fabric and our ruler nice and flat and straight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get those started. So I'm going to line up my fabric and then line up my ruler. Okay, so first you're going to take the safety off of your rotary cutter. Then you're going to line up the guide with the track system. It just latches on really nice and easily. And then just go ahead and cut. And it's as easy as that. All right, so then I'll go through and cut each of the stems individually. So move this out of the way. I'm going to line up my fabric so I can make sure I'm keeping everything nice and straight. And I'm going to cut these about 1.5 inches. So I've got one stem, and I need 5 for this particular banner. Two. 3. I should have ironed this. Oh always iron your fabric. It will make your life so much easier. Glad they're using the tape guns. And our final stem. Oops. All right, and we have all of our stems ready for our pumpkin. So let me show you kind of how we'll be laying it out and piecing it. So there isn't actually any sewing beforehand to prep this. We're going to be doing all of it as applique with our quilt machine. So when I piece these together, I kind of wanted it to, place it over here so you can see better. I didn't want them to just be straight across like this, where all the points are lining up. I kind of wanted to have more of like a rounded look. So when I'm placing it on the actual quilt top, I'm going to kind of just adjust them a little bit like that. And then I'll take my stem, make sure that the loop is at the top, and place it just like that. In the next class, we'll be going through quilting this using rulers and the ruler base. And then we'll also be using the couching foot, where we'll get to sew on our little pieces of thick yarn to create some really beautiful vines. So I'm really excited to show you that during our next class. As you can see, it is so easy to use our 360 circle cutter to create creations of your own, like this fall banner, or anything that you can come up with. It's so much fun. So be sure to check us with our next video as we continue on with this fall banner. We'll be using rulers and the ruler base, and we'll be tacking down it to our quilt top. We'll also be using some circle templates to give it some great design. And then at the end, we'll be using the couching foot to put those designs on top of the pumpkin, just to give it that nice pop. And then at the very end of that, we'll be using our TrueCut system once again to cut out that banner, string it together, so you're able to give these to all of your friends and family. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow our Instagram and visit our website at graceframe.com or contact your local dealer. I'm Janessa, and thanks so much for joining us at the Grace Company. Hello and welcome. My name is Janessa and I'm here with the Grace Company. Today we're finishing up the second class for our Cutting to Quilting Fall Pumpkin Banner. So last time we went through and we cut out our circles using the 360 circle cutter. We went through picking our patterns, and today we're going to actually be quilting, tacking down our raw edge applique. We'll be using the couching foot, and I'll talk you through how we're actually going to string it up and be able to enjoy our pumpkin banner. So let's go ahead and get started. So first we're going to take our circles, and I'm going to place them in a way that I think makes it look a little bit more like a pumpkin. When they're straight across like this, it just looks like 3 circles to me. So instead, I kind of like to have them, like the center pumpkin just a little bit further down. So it kind of gives it a little bit more of that kind of pumpkin feel, I think. Okay, so we're going to be using, a circle template on this. So this particular circle template, I am a very new quilter and especially new to using templates and rulers. And I have really big hands. So I kind of struggle when the templates are really, really thin and there's not a lot of surface area for my hands to be. So I actually took 3 of these circle templates and taped them together all along the top to give my hands a little bit more area to hold on to. On the back, I have our true grips all along the outsides so that when I'm holding onto it, it won't just slip out of the way. It'll kind of grip onto that fabric and just give me a little bit more security as I'm using this circle template. Okay, so first, we're going to go ahead and place our circle template on the center circle first. That'll help tack down the 2 edges to start. So let's go ahead and start at the bottom. Similar to when we were doing the TrueCut 360 circle cutter, we started at the bottom and worked our way around clockwise. I'm going to do a similar pattern with this one because it's the most comfortable for me. Other experts might have a different way to do it. As a beginner, this is just kind of how I've figured out to do it in the best way possible for me. So we'll go ahead and start here at the bottom, and I'm going to keep my left hand here over at the edge. I guess first I should go ahead and pull my bobbin thread up. That's always what we want to do when we're starting out a new pattern. Try that again. Okay, so I've got my 2 tails. I'm going to match those up, make sure that my circle is right where I want it. One thing to remember when we're using these circle templates, it's not like we're tracing it around with a circle. It's not going to fit right up along this edge because of where the needle is placed and where that ruler foot is. It comes off just a little bit. So that's why my circle template is a lot further in. It's not right along those edges. So we're going to start here and go along our sides. And it is not a race. If you need to pause for a second, to readjust your hands, that is totally fine. Take your time. I do recommend if you're going to take a longer pause, like right now I'm going to pause so just so I can readjust my hands a little bit, to make sure you stop your machine in the down position. It will kind of hold your place so that it's not going to move around and cause a little bump or anything like that when you start moving again. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my bobbin. And then go ahead and trim those threads out of our way. Okay, for our left side, we're going to place our circle pumpkin, and I'm going to follow kind of that similar pattern on this left one. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way around to the top again, because that's just the easiest way for me personally to kind of hold on to that circle template. So pull my bobbin. Okay, so we've got our bobbin pulled up, and it's a little awkward, to be completely honest with you, but you're going to kind of angle your body a little bit and have your hand placed on the sides. It's really important to not just have one kind of pressure point. You want to have it on at least 2 of these circle templates. If not, when you're pushing the ruler foot around, it can kind of slip over the top, even though it has that higher ridge. That can happen, so make sure you're pushing down on both sides and doing your very best to keep that ruler foot pressed up against that template. It will help you avoid those little edges that just aren't as pretty. And I'm going very slow, and that is totally okay. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, pull up my bobbin. All right, go ahead and trim your threads, maybe. Okay, and now we're going to go over to the other side. And so instead of starting at the bottom with this pumpkin, I'm actually going to start at the top, because it's kind of that end rotation of that clockwise turn. So I'm going to start over here, pull my bobbin, okay. I'm going to keep both of my left hand over here on the left side of that circle template and try and keep it as flat as possible and that pressure as even as I can. Where it gets a little bit tricky, and I want to be able to readjust my hands a little bit just so that I'm not in the way and it just feels a little bit more comfortable with me. So I stop my machine briefly, and then we'll go ahead and keep following around. Okay, we'll stop there. Pull our bobbin. And then trim our threads. Okay, so we've got our 3 circles for our pumpkin tacked down. And now, just to give it a little bit more of kind of a pumpkin look, we're going to use another type of template. And this one is a kind of half circle. So instead of doing it so it matches the exact lines, I'm actually going to kind of tilt it a little bit. So it looks like all of these lines are kind of joining to this kind of center point where the stem will be. So on this one, I'm actually going to start at the top because that just feels more natural to me. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever works best for you. Oops. I am so good at pulling these bobbins. Okay, so we've got our two tails. Gonna place that template again. Make sure my hand is nice and even so it's not rocking. And then I'm going to stop right when I get to that thread line from before. Pull my bobbin. Okay, and now we're going to go to our center. I'm going to start this one right kind of along that center point and have the top and the bottom as close as I can to those two center points. Pull my bobbin. Right. And stop right when I hit that bottom line. And then instead of pulling the bobbin up, I'm just going to move the ruler to the other side, line up my thread lines. There we go. And again, this one's a little bit awkward, so I'm trying to keep my hand kind of parallel and flat to that. And then stop when those points match up. Pull my bobbin. Knot your bobbin. That's fun. And then trim your threads. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start over here on the left side. Make sure and pull our bobbin. Have our tails over here out of our way, and then line up with that kind of rounded edge. Just find those 2 points that you want to line it up with. And instead of pushing down like this where there's the potential for it to move around, try as much as you can to kind of keep your hand flat on that template but still out of the way. And then stop when you intersect that other thread line, pull your bobbin. And if you wanted to go through and mark exactly where you wanted those points to line up, you could definitely do that. It would give it a more accurate and consistent feel. Again, nothing about these pumpkins I'm doing is super uniform. Again, they've got kind of those edges and things like that. It's a very scrappy kind of look and feel. If you wanted something a lot more consistent, you can go through and mark those things, measure things out exactly where you wanted them to be. I encourage that if that's the look that you're going for. And yeah, so again, just kind of make it your own and whatever your heart desires. I wanted to kind of walk you through some of the mistakes that I made on the pumpkins that I did before. Again, I'm really new to quilting and to ruler work especially, so I'm learning a lot and practicing a lot as I go. So if any of you experts are watching, please in the comments give some other ideas and tips and tricks for people who are beginners and how they can improve their skills, maybe tips and tricks for how you like to hold it would be super appreciated. So let me show you on this one up here. On this pumpkin up here, you can see I kind of have like a little bit of a blip. So I think when I was doing that particular pumpkin, the foot just got away from this template edge and it gave that little bump, and I'm like, oh no, and so I pushed it right back up, but you can still see that little mark there. Another one is you can see here, the fabric is kind of bunching. That just kind of shows that I wasn't keeping it as nice and straight and flat as I was going around with that very first circle. So again, things that I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm going to continue to improve on and hopefully get better with those as I go. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is putting on our stem. So I'm going to really quickly swap out our fabric to the green, or switch out our thread to the green thread, so it's not too much of a contrast on that green fabric. So give me just a moment while I get that swapped out. Okay, so the next part is adding our stem to the top of our pumpkin. So remember when we cut these, we cut 2 pieces along the fold. So I've got that nice little loop there, and I'm just going to place it on the top of my pumpkin. If you wanted to place it beforehand, you could also have it kind of underneath your circle. Again, it's just whatever look you prefer. It's totally up to you. Okay, so I'm going to start over here, and I'm only going to sew along this bottom inch square and leave this top loop so that after I cut it out, I'm able to string through the stem for my actual banner. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. Pull my bobbin. So I've pulled my bobbin, I've got my 2 tails over here kind of out of the way. Make sure that my fabric is nice and lined up. And just sew along those edges. If I wanted to go through and also add kind of like some stippling through here, I could do that. Any other designs that you feel really comfortable with? This is just going to kind of give it that extra kind of security. And this would be significantly easier if I had on the stippling foot, the micro stippling foot. Okay, go ahead and stop there. Pull my bobbin. We're going to pretend like that worked beautifully. Cut my threads. And now for my favorite part, we're going to put on the couching foot and add those vines, which is really going to make it pop and give it that really fun kind of 3-dimensional aspect. So give me just a moment while I get that couching foot put on. Okay, so now we get to one of my favorite parts, which is using the couching foot to attach our vines. So the couching foot is really cool because it has this ability to string the yarn through, and the needle and thread will kind of tack down that yarn in whatever design you come up with. So I'm going to start over here, and I want it to be in a continuous line. So I'm going to kind of loop around, come up here, and follow my way back down. I do have a little tail here that I'll just cut off at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. And you'll just keep following along. And just keep doing that until it creates that design that you're hoping for. All right, so I'm going to take some time to finish this up, cut it out, and string it so that you can see the finished product and what that will look like when it's completed. All right, so I have finished the quilting on our pumpkin banner, and I just wanted to walk you through some of the final little steps. I made some adjustments as I kind of cut it out and show you our final product. So, when I went through after I'd taken the quilt top and quilt sandwich off of the frame, I used our rotary cutter and actually cut around each of these little circles in our pumpkin. And then I took some scissors and cut little like 1/4 inch little slits, being really careful not to hit into the stitches. And then I took my scissors, and when it was on a table, a little tough to show now, I just rubbed up against it to kind of give it that nice frayed little scarecrow look that we were kind of going for with this fall pumpkin banner. So yeah, those are all the steps to create this fall pumpkin banner on your own. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow our Instagram and visit our website at graceframe.com or contact your local dealer. I'm Janessa, and thank you for joining us at the Grace Company.
When I get my check,
Hi, everybody.
you can do what you want. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, we're back. Those were some amazing videos.
Absolutely, yeah, they were amazing. And so we went over, Carla went over her free motion tips. I always love how she talks about, doodle, doodle, doodle. And I remember she said, if you're angry, you doodle. And that helps you calm down. I thought that was funny. But
okay, I think you're back.
It's seriously such a good thing for learning how to free motion.
Real choppy.
Yeah, I really loved. What did you guys like about the free motion? Like, what are some tips about free motion that you guys are finding from when you're doing free motion? Because Carla was showing like pantograph and using lasers, but what's one thing that you guys like to use for free motion work?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Big ocean.
Oh, we lost the
No,
that might be why we were not having good problems. So my favorite thing about that free motion, I loved when Carla was following the laser and she was like, oh, I forgot the star.
Right.
She's like, that's okay. It's mine. I own it. And so I think that's part of it, right? That it doesn't matter what project you're doing. You are the creator, and it's okay if you do something a little bit different than you originally thought of. And that's the best part about free motion, is that it's you flowing and doing all those things. I also like the tip where she talked about punching it, like after you've poked the needles, that you can do the chalk punching so that it's a different way of following along.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then on to the awesome things by Janessa, the whole pumpkin applique, that was so fun.
It does make your mind start thinking like, well, what else could I applique with the circle cutter? A Christmas tree ornament applique banner and snowball applique. I mean, I was just like, oh, I could do all these things. And I think someone else was putting in there like, oh, these are all the other things you can do with it. So yeah, and I've never done applique quilting. So that was a new thing to think about as well, that, that there are lots of ways that you can do quilting. It's not just that traditional piecing and everything like that.
Yeah, it was so fun. And, fall's starting to come up. We're almost there, not quite.
Not quite.
We're getting into there, so that was fun.
Definitely not in Arizona, not close at all.
No, not close at all. All right, but yeah, so we went over those, and we have a few videos left. But before that, we're going to also go over our last giveaway and also remind you about how to contact Sun Valley Quilts. And it looks like we got them back, so we're going to bring it back on
let's see
here.
If we got them back
Let's see
on
if we
here.
got it back. Do we have you all back over there?
Yay!
Okay, they're back. There we
are. So our first the middle time is we're going to do our free motion fundamental motion kit. Now, this is a fantastic kit to get started with free motion work. Just like Carla was saying, do some doodling, different things. It's got a great image doodling that helps you like practice, and then the printed piece on the top piece has those same doodles. So the practicing that you're doing with your hands, then you can do with your arms with the doodling. It comes with a top piece, a batting, and a backing. And then it comes with some bobbins, whether you have a long arm or a domestic machine. So there's bobbins for that, and thread, and a marking tool. So everything that you need to get started, whether you have a long arm or a domestic machine. But we have our random generator up to get choosing. So we've got our person for the free motion starter kit. So drum roll.
All right, I will do a drum roll for the giveaway. And let's see. All right,
Rebecca.
There we are. We got Rebecca Dumas for the giveaway on the
free motion starter kit.
Yeah, and that's really great because it goes right into kind of what Carla was talking about, just like you were saying just now about. So that's just this perfect one to coincide with the videos that we have here.
But if you were not the Rebecca and you didn't get a chance to win, contact Sun Valley Quilts. They are happy to help you get one of those free motion starter kits. They're all ready to go to help you practice your free motion fundamentals, get you doodling, practice with your quilts. Again, it's a fantastic product to have you do free motion quilt work.
Absolutely. And another thing to note here, Lynn let us know that she does have a few lasers in stock, because there are some people very interested because of the video. So they do have those. Make sure to get in touch with them. And again, we have on the bottom of the screen here their contact information. So they're right there in Sun City. You can give them a call at that number, and reserve yours today maybe. So give them a call, because we want you to go and see them. And you saw how cute their shop was at the beginning. So please give them a visit.
Yeah. I think someone will say, is Kendra there yet to try and go and visit to get her laser going on. But yeah, again, free motion starter kit, your luminous light bar, machines, everything. Even someone was saying like, well, now I want to buy lots of fabric. I need to go to see Sun Valley so we can get lots of fabric going on.
Absolutely. Please do. I've been there, and their fabric is really fun selection. So go on by and check them out. So what else do we got to talk about? Another thing I guess I'll bring up again is we are doing the Scottsdale show, and we do have an additional opportunity. It's kind of like a double entry. If you come by and see us, that'll be Lynn and me at the Scottsdale show. We'll get you an additional entry into the drawing for these live giveaways. So make sure, if you want to get lucky and get another prize, make sure to come see us there, and we'll get you another entry. Yeah,
now that's the grand prize for the event today in conjunction with the physical event in Scottsdale. So it's the cutie frame with an 8-pack finesse thread. So, I mean, how many quilts can you do with that, right?
Oh, quite a bit.
1,500 yard for each spool. It's 100% polyester, but has that look and feel of cotton. It's great for all your quilting needs. And then also for, it comes with the bungee clips, which don't normally come with a cutie. So if you're doing a table runner or a baby quilt or something, you've got the sides available with those bungees to help keep it taut. And then finally, of course, the cutie, which is fantastic. I love it. Use it with your domestic or your Unique machine. Fantastic double tabletop frame.
That is, we love the cutie frame. Someone said they saw it there at the shop.
Yeah,
it's just such a great thing. And we'll have it there to come. And if you want to come try something out, they have it in their shop, and then also we'll have it at the show. So please come say hi to us there. And I think we're going to go into one of our next videos here.
Yes.
Jana, was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we went into our last exciting video?
Our last video, this is from our summer camp, because we always have summer camp every summer now. This is Laurel and Nathan. They are out camping in the woods, and they're glamping in the woods with the 19X Elite. So we're going to find out all about the 19X Elite and why it's a fantastic machine. And then we'll come back and we'll find out why it's one of our favorite machines.
Yeah, I'm already thinking, I was about to start talking about why I love it so much. I'm like, wait, we got to show you first, and then we'll come back and then I'll talk about it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put on this 19X Elite video, and we'll see you on the other side of this.
Welcome to the Quilters Summer Camp.
I'm Counselor LJ or Laurel.
And I'm Counselor Nathan. We're excited to be with you today.
Today, what we're going to be talking a little bit on is this new 19X Elite machine.
The 19X Elite. So we're excited about introducing this machine that is friendly, familiar, and actually the perfect size for your quilting space. We're going to spend the next few minutes walking through some details and hopefully helping you understand what you might see as an Elite experience outside in your different journeys and your different camping experiences and your different travels, on how we can kind of relate those back into your quilting room or your studio room. Have you ever thought about flying, LJ? I know you've done some of that here recently.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I guess, maybe a little experience. We're talking about Elite and just a kind of situation that I felt really that I was in an Elite situation or really treated very well. I was just flying, I actually was coming back or flying in Australia to just a new city there, and I got upgraded to their business, or what we call first class. And let me tell you, I loved it. I sat down, they offered me a drink and all that. And it just, I felt so catered to, and I loved it. It was like all my needs were met and everything I could possibly want happened for me. And so really, I think that's exactly what this machine is and does.
I love that. And we're going to start by talking about a few different things that help really define part of what we have seen as the quilter's needs and how this machine helps make some of those possible. The first thing I want to talk about, LG, is comfort.
Yes.
Think about it. You mentioned your plane flight. I know that when I have a little bit more leg room, I'm a little more comfortable. In your car, you might think that there is the climate that might make it a little bit more comfortable. And I'm gonna throw this in there. I like sometimes performance. That makes it a little fun and potentially comfortable for me as well. So we're gonna talk about different parts of this machine that help actually enhance the quilting experience, making it a lot more comfortable for you as you quilt through your different projects. And LJ, I'm gonna have you demonstrate some of these. We're gonna kind of talk about some of these parts and the pieces that make this elite machine. And let's first talk about the handlebars that we have here. They're different than a lot of the other handlebars we've had in the past. Would you mind sharing with us what some things are that stand out that make this more comfortable to use on the machine?
So a couple different things. One thing right off the bat that you'll notice is actually the buttons display, or how you can control the machine, is a much more simplified version. So, you know, Nathan talked about comfort and having some familiarity or some simplicity to things. And so really that's what we've done here, where it's a simple, you know, start, stop, needle up, needle down, and I can adjust my speed unit or my stitches per inch with it. So again, a very simplified, anyone can walk up to it and feel comfortable with getting started on it. You know, and really getting away with it. And then another thing that's really nice as well, and I think it's a big feature, but they actually are adjustable handles. So when I say that, I don't mean only the angle, but I mean you can also extend
adjustable,
them
like
out.
can I do maybe this with my bed at home? Probably
not
if I
quite.
want something more comfortable. All right. So.
Yeah. So really what Nathan's saying there is you can simply, again, adjust not only the angle, so it can sit at whatever angle you want, but you can also simply pull it out. So that again, I don't have to feel like I need to get up and over the machine. I simply can just put my arms out, and again, it's at a comfortable angle for me.
I love that. One of the things I'm thinking about in camping, oftentimes I have a cot, and if I put my sleeping bag, unfortunately, I'm about a 6'3" guy here, so my feet hang over the end. That's not adjustable. As we quilt through the system, one of the things we have found is that as your space expands, so as you get more machine throat, so this machine is 19 inches, which is from the needle to the back, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But what we found is that we end up and we lean over, and part of that makes our back a little bit tired. And so, LJ, one thing you talked about again is that we can extend those handles out, and so that gives you the chance that when you're at the back of the frame, that we can actually work at the back of the frame with the right posture, keeping everything together. And the other thing I noticed is that you were angling it. Tell us a little bit about why we might want to angle the handle.
Yeah, so part of it is sometimes everyone's coming from different backgrounds when they're getting into quilting. So sometimes if you've gone maybe from a domestic machine, you're used to maybe having it down here. And so that's when, again, you can come in and adjust those handles to sit at that angle for you. Or some people, again, just want them to sit right upright or slightly in. So again, it is a fully adjustable, so you can have it at whatever angle is going to suit what you want. And then sometimes even if you switch what type of work you're doing, so sometimes if you're doing like micro stippling work, you again may want to do this so you can come in a little bit more or adjust it. So it really is able to fully adjust to your needs and wants with it.
One more great adjustment is, as we mentioned, we can move the angle of the handles, we can move them in and out, we can actually lower them as well. I know that a lot of quilters, if you've ever been at home and you've pushed fabric through the throat of the machine, as you've done that, there is some familiarity because your hands have been kind of, in essence, flat or parallel to the surface of the fabric. So this allows us to not only bring them down, but we can actually lower them. And we have found, again, if you're down close and you're doing some really detailed quilting, then that really gives you that adjustable piece as well. So incredibly adjustable on the handles, up, down, we can rotate them, we can move them in or out, which really allows, whether I'm a taller individual, a medium size, or if we're a short quilter, we can really get that perfect piece. Again, really the goal here is to make it more of an elite experience for you based on the way we've designed some of the different parts and the pieces of this machine. So here's another small one. LJ, we have a little bit of a different foot system, and a lot of people don't know. There's a patent we have because there are some adjustable pieces with the foot. Are you familiar with those, or?
I am a little bit. I haven't done a whole ton of work with it, but I do know, I was talking with an ambassador of ours who actually does a lot of ruler work. And so they found that for that, they actually like to change or adjust the position that the hopping foot itself sits in.
So the foot can be placed either with the main part of the arm coming off the back, or you can move it to the side. A lot of people prefer the line of sight And they tell us as quilters, I want to see my needle and then nothing else behind it. Others like to keep all that aligned. So that's a unique patented feature that we have on this product. Again, that gives you a way to personalize your own experience on what works best for you. A couple things too, and up here on the top of the machine, we have the thread stand. And this thread stand is not towards the back of the machine, it's towards the front. What kind of value does that help add for the machine or for the quilters that are working with the machine?
Well, it just helps bring it again to that comfort level. So, you know, we talked about the handles that maybe if you're a little bit shorter again, you can really adjust them. So when you start to get into machines that have a bigger throat space, as you can see, I can't reach the back of the machine, right? So that way we've brought it up to the front. So again, you can easily come in to thread your machine and have access to that.
Yeah, I love that. It's also dual comb if you're looking to maybe do some bobbin winding on top or in addition to keeping your thread here. And we'll talk a little bit about some of those details. It's a great new bobbin winder that we consider as part of this new Elite lineup as well. But it does bring it to the front. LG, I saw when you reached the back, I know there'll be a couple questions that come up. Then how do you turn, in essence, the hand wheel? Well, there's some technology, or what we refer to as the Elite technology, that we've also built into the screen so that we also don't have to go to the back of the frame in order to access or reach over our machine to do so. One of the last things I like to talk about is just simply the screen and its ability to be angled or put it at what's right for you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, again, so this just kind of brings back into that whole comfort feature. You know, when camping, there's some additional things that you really just want to have, so it's an enjoyable experience. So with this, you know, again, if I'm a little bit taller, I can simply adjust it up for me, or I can adjust it down, again, really to just fit whatever position I'm wanting it to sit in.
On a lot of the machines, as we even have designed some, we've had some down lower, we've had some up top, and we really have found that kind of right here in the middle is a perfect place to put it, right at the pivot point above the head, so that if you did want to tilt it, you actually can. If it's up top, it's a little bit harder and it's probably higher, and some quilters we've seen that have needed that to come down a little bit. So this gives you a great availability of the angles in which you can use to make sure that it works best for you, best for your eyesight, and best on the height of this.
Yeah, and I do want to say, you kind of briefly talked about the eyesight as well, is you'll notice that this is quite a bit bigger screen that you may have seen on some of our previous machines. And so that's just to help bring in, again, some familiarity, because a lot of times things are touchscreen nowadays, your phone, maybe you have a tablet, laptop, anything like that. So we've helped, again, make it a little bit bigger and even simplify that so that anyone coming in can, again, easily use the machine.
And we have had screens on our machines for really from the first machine we did, which was the 14 plus years ago. That one was not touchscreen. We ended up moving into the touchscreen arena here, you know, a few years back. And in fact, one of our most recent machines, the 21 Pro, had a large 5-inch. And so here a couple months back, we launched the 21X Elite, which has this beautiful 7-inch screen. So right now, that's been this next level screen that we have been able to create. And again, we're going to move here briefly into the technology, and you're going to be able to see. I feel it's a lot more intuitive. We went and we reached out to several different individuals to see, again, what you would want as a quilter, and we really have looked at packaging that together.
Yes.
LG, really quick, let's look at just a couple last things regarding the shape and the size. As we've designed this, one of the words I used as we began was friendly and familiar. And what we've noticed was in the industry, everybody, they were doing these big, bulky, these heavy commercial machines. And we didn't want to lose the commercial qualities of the machine, but we felt that what we could do is slim it down, lighten it actually, so that the machine is not as heavy physically to move around, while keeping the same strength and the integrity. And so as people have looked at this, one is it's an absolutely beautiful machine. I challenge you, go find a machine that is more pretty than this machine in the industry. You're not going to find it. And so we spend a lot of time into the looks, the fills, and ultimately the functional with that technology, again, to bring what we consider this elite experience to you. So I love the way it looks. We actually were able to take the body that is cast metal, so it's cast aluminum, and with it being cast, we're able to make it 15% stronger than a couple of our other machines while reducing the weight. So we were able to take our 15 machine that a lot of people know. This is stronger and it weighs about the exact same as a 15-inch machine. So we think that's pretty important.
Yeah, I know it says, Nathan was saying, you know, it weighs about the same, but you get that extra throat space. So again, it is a bigger machine, but is nice because it does weigh, you know, right around about that same weight.
So looking at this is a 19-inch machine. So that's where the name comes from, the 19X Elite. And again, how that's defined is from the needle, and it goes from the needle to the back of the throat. And so that is what adds the entire stroke of the system. So this is a 19-inch machine, and we love talking about, again, the conveniences that come when you decide to move to a machine at this size. And again, this machine is not going to be for everybody. I'll just tell you right now, this is for those that if you're beginning and you can afford it, then this is a machine to go to. But this is usually for somebody who's decided that quilting's something they're doing. They most likely maybe have used a domestic machine. You might currently be using one of those mid-arm machines and you're really looking to kind of get to a final stage. This is that elite experience, the elite machine. With that 19 inches of throat space, it's going to give you a lot more area to be able to do all of your patterns. And on top of that, what that means is less fabric management, which is always an important piece. Now I'm trying to think about, is there anything in camping and managing, maybe you don't have to go cut all the firewood because in essence it's all been pre-cut. Trying to think of what might make it easier, but this is bringing things that you normally have to go do and take time to do, and it's removing those out of your way. So you can get to the fire faster. One last thing, we actually have printed on here some instructions as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
So this just comes back to, again, anyone being able to walk up to the machine and feel comfortable with it. So you'll see there actually is printings for how to actually thread the machine itself, and then there's printings for also how to wind that bob in there. So again, there's no worries of, hey, oh, I maybe forgot, or maybe I misplaced my instructions, you know, like there's just zero worries because it is on the machine for you to see.
I'm really excited to move into the elite technology side of what this is with the machine. Some of those, we have actually some smart patented feature we'll talk a little bit about. We'll talk a little bit about the bobbin estimator. We're gonna walk through some details on the screen with stitch regulation amongst many other features as well. So I'm really excited to get into part of what this is. So LJ, one of the things that I would like to start off with is one of the patented features we call edge warning. And if you think about this, and I'll have you explain this, but I want you to be thinking of your car, if you by chance have a parking sensor when you go to pull in or if you back up, that kind of gives you some warning. We have some amazing technology that is built in. Tell us a little bit more about what that is, and then we can show them how it works.
Yeah, so that's a great example. So if you think about parking assist, really what happens is as you come upon an object or whatever, it's gonna beep at you, right? To let you know, hey, you're coming up on the edge, you make sure to stop in time. So what we've done with the edge warning feature is sometimes when you're quilting, what happens is you tend to come focus in a lot on the detailed work that you're working on. And so you may be so focused on that sometimes you may, you know, if you're at the front of your work, you may hit the back of your machine here as far as that throat space goes. Or what may happen as well as you start to get to the back of your quilt, again, you don't want to make sure that doesn't run into the back of your frame that you're using. So what we've done is we've actually built in either an inch or a ½ inch offset from that. So as I'm working on my, you know, quilt design that I'm doing, as I come on that edge, it'll beep at me again. And not only that, but we've actually built in a light as well, so that there's many features that'll help notify you so you don't go off the edge.
So, and we'll just tell you, this is one of the most common things that comes up is quilters are doing their work and you get into all of your quilting and your patterns. This not only happens front to back, it can happen left to right. A frame like this one we're using is more of a hoop style. And so there is a space the machine works inside of. And I love this because you can turn this off or on and you can make some adjustments. Now with it, there's another great feature is we have another part that we're working on, you know, with some patent pending is smart lights that also work in conjunction with this. And so not only do we get an audible warning, but we're going to get a visual warning that helps let us know that we're getting to the spot in which the machine will no longer be able to quilt. So let's do a quick demonstration on this, and then I'll have you go ahead and look into the toolbox and go ahead and set our edge warning for us.
So like Nathan said, you go to your toolbox and then you can see it's clearly labeled here. It's that edge warning feature. So again, as I mentioned, there's that ½ inch or an inch offset. So you're just going to come actually move the machine
move it up over here to our edge.
To where you want to. Well, I want to go ahead so we can display it. So I'm going to come up here to this edge and act as if I'm trying to quilt within this square.
Great. So then you're going to have some boundaries you're setting. So we're saying as we get close to this, you'll let it warn you. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Great. So I'm going to come on up left and I'm going to use my needle as that positioning point. So I hit set, and then again it's going to come prompt me to do that bottom right.
I love it as, by the way, if you watch this and you can see on the screen, it actually shows and animates to help you know part of what you're setting. And now what did you just set? What was your offset you just did?
I chose to do a ½ inch, and one thing again that's really nice is that you can see it puts a giant check on there so that I know that that edge warning feature
on, right?
is
engaged. Turned on and is engaged. Okay.
Yes, and then it's even nice too that if you click out of it, you can see this little feature pop up on the side to again let you know that that edge warning feature is on. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll show you a little bit here of kind of what it looks like as far as that sound goes, as well as the lights with it. So as I start quilting and as I come up on my edge, you'll see two different things I want to point out. So one of them is you'll notice there's a light that comes on. And again, another one is that sound, again, as I come in. And then one thing that's really nice with this as well is that you can actually choose to have either or on. So you can either have just the lights or just the sound, or like we showed here, you can have both of them. It really is something that I think you see it and you're just like, oh man, it should have been here forever ago.
It is one of those. You think, why did it take us so long to come out with this type of technology? So it's going to save and help you with quite a few different things, and bumping into edges, moving too far to the right, moving too far to the left, keeping you together. So we're really excited about what this technology is in the Elite machines. So let's quickly move to the bobbin. We're going to talk about really quick the bobbin winder, and then I want to talk about the bobbin estimator as a new Elite technology. And I'm just going to kind of point out at the back here, we have this new bobbin winder. And again, one of the fun things, the machine has an M-class bobbin, so we use these much larger bobbins. And this one is now optical. And so this is a little bit more of a smart system. It has a little bit more adjustment, so you can decide how full you want those bobbins. And one of the nice things is it has actually push button pauses and starts in order to wind. So it's a high-speed bobbin winder built into the machine itself, again with those buttons, using those M-class bobbins. So moving from the bobbin winder up to the bobbin estimator, if you'll go ahead and go into the toolbox, and you'll see there on the screen we have the bobbin estimator. This gives us a chance to select the bobbin you have, and you can put a yard length. Now, the reason we have this as an option is certain machines have different types of, you can get pre-wounds and there's different thicknesses. Go ahead and do the select bobbin for me there. And then this allows you to add a bobbin, and you can put one in there. Just put M for whatever you want to call, like ours are an aluminum one. Just put one on there and hit enter for me. That's good. So there it is, and you can see it's on, and then we have the amount of yardage that you can change, and you can increase that and decrease that yardage. And so this is, again, a great thing, because the machine will actually begin to start to let you know at a certain yardage that you're getting low on the bobbin. So this estimator is a great tool to have, because as you continue to use, like one of our amazing finesse threads, you'll get a certain amount of yardage per bobbin. And as we wind those, then we'll know the machine will have the smarts to help let you know that the end of that is getting near. Again, it's an estimator, so what that means is it will estimate the amount of yardage you have quilted onto the frame or on your fabric. And at that point, it will then bring up a warning on screen.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's really nice is, we talk about this being an Elite experience, is that, I mean, think about it, that's so nice, right? I no longer have to be in mid-project and have my bobbin run out, right? I can plan for a certain area, or sometimes if I may be doing a bit heavier threading in one section, I can go in and put that in to make sure that, hey, I'm gonna have enough thread for this section, and again, really help complete that whole Elite experience.
So LJ, let's go back into the screen and let's show them one of the next Elite technologies is with that measuring tool. So go ahead and select the measuring tool. And again, go ahead and let's measure the size of this block for them from left to right. So you can move over to the beginning, hit reset, which will give us our 0 spot. And then one of the things that's nice is go ahead, as you move this, you can see that the numbers actually update with us. So go across and then tell me, the middle one you can see is our straight one. How wide is that?
About 11, just shy of about 12.
12 inches. So it looks like we have 12. If we were to do that on an angle, it gives it to us. We can do top to bottom. So this is a great way for you to kind of understand part of it. A lot of people will use this to mark the center of their quilts as well as they're going across it. So let's go ahead and close this back out. And then let's go ahead and open one more. There might be a need to look at some measurements or to do some multiplying or to look at some small numbers. So it does have the built-in calculator also. Let's go ahead and what's 12 times 5? Oh, I'm just kidding. We're good.
Ooh, all right, all right.
We're good.
One thing we talked about a little bit earlier is that there actually is a bigger screen itself, but then really what you'll notice as well with the screen is it's a very simplified and easy to understand. Again, something that's familiar to you if any touchscreen device that you may have. And again, very simplified so anyone can come up and feel comfortable and excited to use this machine. And so one of those features you'll see up here in the upper right-hand corner is the settings and help. Now we'll really quickly go into the settings here, but this is really where you can access all these different things on the light, the brightness of the screen. You can see the needle area brightness, so that's something that you can adjust through here. And again, your single stitch. This also is where you can see the overspeed sound, as well as that edge warning, either light or sound feature with it as well. And then another thing, again, just talking about how we're looking to make this more of a friendly machine to use, is that there actually are some help options. And so this is, again, if you're ever looking to troubleshoot or even just getting started with the machine, there's the simple preparing to quilt, how to thread your machine, and even within this, you can see you can go in and select those, and it will do a nice zoomed in picture for you to see how to thread it with it. And then again, different points there, choosing your needle, winding the bobbin. And so really we're just bringing some more education pieces right to your fingertips so you feel comfortable on getting started and quilting.
So this machine's a step up. We have had a 19 series machine for a bit of time. And the thought was, is how do we kind of bring this from where it was as a great quilting machine to, again, this elite status? And we've done that a few different ways. One of the things that we did is we looked at the overall performance. Now, again, we've looked at some of the designs, some of the smarts on the outside. We've looked at the screen, the functions, the new patented features like the edge warning. Yeah. And one of the things is as we become more comfortable and we tend to be moving more fluid across the surface, we move faster. And this means the machine can actually keep up with you and manage the pace so that it continue those even, accurate stitches. Now, LJ, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the stitching modes that we have in this elite machine as well? That would be a great thing to kind of maybe demonstrate with them and let them know.
Yeah, so one thing Nathan talked about is that this does 2,600 stitches per minute. So as you become more comfortable with it, it can stay or keep those even and consistent stitches. So right now, I'll show you just again those couple different type of modes. So there's precise, cruise, manual, and base. So let's go really quickly and show you precise. So precise, I like to say, is one that really follows you. So if I start to move the machine faster, it's going to stitch faster. If I slow down, it's going to stitch slower. So I'll show you.
And one of the things I like particular to this one is you might be using other accessories like ruler bases amongst others, and the machine, what I like, will come to a full stop when you come to a full stop. So let's go ahead and show them what that would be like.
Again, it's really something that puts me in full control of my stitching. So again, if I stop moving the machine, there's none. And then if I speed up, it'll stitch faster. Or if I slow down, it'll stitch slower with me.
Now, one of the other things that we just saw is that the stitch regulator will also indicate if we go faster.
Yes.
Which is that red flash because the machine no longer can keep up. Now, that was pretty fast though.
Yes, yeah, you gotta move it really fast there on that one. But again, it was a really nice feature. Again, I was in full control. Another mode that we have here is our cruise mode. Now this one, I like to kind of think about it like it is on your car. So with your car, there is usually a cruise mode. So with it, I can usually speed up or slow down, but that it'll also can keep me at a consistent speed.
Let me share one place I love using this is for small fill work. If I'm going to do like, I'm going to call it a pebble, or if I might be doing a bunch of grapes so-called, and then I want to go in and I want to fill in the area, instead of feeling like I have to move or jerk the machine around, I can actually slow down and the machine will continue to stitch. So that way I can kind of just move the machine lightly as the stitching gets filled in those areas. You mind if I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration on this one here? So again, we have some settings on how fast that machine can go on its base. So I'm just going to kind of, as we're going, I'm going to kind of come and do a couple circles here. And I'm going to show you as we slow down, this machine will now continue to actually quilt. And I do not have to, in essence, move my machine around quickly in order to get it to work the way it needs to work. And that's why I really love that cruise control mode.
So there's just two modes remaining. So the next one is manual. This is one that's just going to be like if you use your own domestic machine, meaning that you can set the speed, but it's going to just stitch at a fixed speed for me. So again, if you see here, it's going to stitch at that speed regardless of how fast or slow I may move it. And then,
so no stitch regulation on that one?
No, again, that's just like your domestic machine where you can set at what speed it's stitching, but it is just a fixed speed.
All right, and we have one more mode, and what's that one?
Yes, this last mode is a basting stitch. And one thing that's nice about it is that there's actually 3 different sizes. So you can do a small, medium, or a large basting stitch for your quilt tops.
With that, let's kind of move into one of the last things that I like to talk about is elite compatibility. And what does that really mean? Well, as we've designed this machine, we wanted to make sure that we didn't undo some of the things, the accessories, and the compatibility that we had with a lot of the other types of frames and ruler bases, etc. So one of our beloved frames that came out here last year was the Cutie frame. And yes, this 19X Elite will fit on the Cutie frame. It fits on the Q zones, our queen size frames, and it also works with our professional series machines, the Continuum 2, and our professional frames as a whole. And so this machine is one of those that we wanted to make sure connected and stayed connected with your quilting experience throughout your growth cycle, so that when you're ready, you can start in smaller spaces, medium spaces to large spaces, getting these amazing functionalities.
Well, one thing, you know, Nathan talked about is that we want to make sure it works for all sizes out there, and so that's same with the accessories. So all the accessories for our 19-inch machines will still work with this. The only thing is rear handles, there are specific because it will come with that nice bigger display for you on those rear handles.
So we have the ruler bases. We have some amazing new feet kits, foot kits that came out here. So we have the 360 Wonder Foot. We have our
Glide
new ruler
foot,
foot. Foot set, and so there's a lot of those that also you can use, and then you can do ruler work. And one of the other great accessories is the computer automation. We call that Quilter's Creative Touch. And so yes, when you're prepared, the machine has been set up, and it's very easy to simply add that to the system when you're ready. And again, that will work with the machine on any one of the frames that you would select. We're really glad that you joined us, campers, as we've been out there thinking about it. I hope you had a little bit of a journey on what you consider elite or elite experiences for you. Thank you again. Join us again as we continue on our camping experience. So thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Oops, let me scooch over.
There we are.
Hi, everybody
New
again.
show.
Welcome back.
Okay.
And we just saw the 19X Elite. It was so amazing. Lynn and Barbara, what do you guys think of the new 19X Elite?
We're it. Want a song and dance? Hello. Well, what do you want to talk about?
I say we talk about the CUNY.
Go right ahead.
Let's just see. So hopefully, Jana and Jarek, you're there. We can't see you. You guys are kind of spinning. So with the internet issues might be at our end, and maybe we're the technical glitch. I'm not sure.
There they are. You're back on.
Hi. Now we see you.
Hi.
Which is actually one of my very favorite machines. It is such a sweet spot in the lineup. Having all of them in the store, I frequently choose to demo on the 19s. Love all the patented, the ability to change the feet, all those features, or the direction of the foot that Nathan and LJ went over, make all of the X Elites really nice and special machines, but the 19 kind of tugs at my heart. The 19.
Yeah, the 19s, I think is Jarek's favorite. It's
Don't
my
see
favorite
Jana
as well.
or Jarek. Ah, there you are.
Yeah, I think they're one of our favorites. They're just such a perfect, even with the larger space, they're not that much harder to move around. It's not like with 3 more inches of throat space, you get so much a heavier machine, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is my favorite machine. So before I worked in sales, I worked back in the quality check for our machines because they come over from overseas, and then we very closely inspect them and, take them apart to a degree and then put them back together and sew on them. And the 19s were always just my best friend because they always just stitch so beautifully all the time. And I really do like the weight of them is really great. And so it's not like, the 21 is great because you have so much throat space, but then having that 19 is just enough throat space. It's like a really solid amount, and then that lower weight. And I really liked in the video that they were talking about, the one that we just watched, kind of that elite experience, right?
Yeah.
So, because there's the 19X and there's the 19X Elite. And so, the Elite is the upgrade. It is that first class kind of package sort of deal when you're quilting. When you find somewhere, there's nothing wrong with Coach, right? But if you can, and it's not a whole ton more, I mean, when you kind of think about it relatively, if I'm already going this far with how much I'm spending, that little bit more to get that elite package is really nice. And I love like the built-in help menu and that big touch screen. So I really like that they went over that as well. But yeah, the 19 cannot really say enough about it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And I love that it has the same stitch modes and also the stitches per minute as the 21. So the 21 has 2,600 stitches, but so does the 19X Elite. So yes, you're having a little bit less inches on your throw space, but you're still getting all that fantastic ability. It looks like we lost Sun Valley. We're so sorry. Again, if you have any questions, they're fantastic when their internet wasn't just working, but we've got their contact information here on the banners. So you can go to their website, you can give them a call, you can email them, go to their store, check out all the fantastic fabric and Grace products that they've got there. And they are so knowledgeable. Lynn and Barbara are fantastic. They know so much about quilting in general, but just Grace products. Again, I just want to remind you, for the fall pumpkin banner, we are going to have that on our platform. So if you registered for the event in the platform,
Great reminder.
at the where you can go back and watch it again, we'll have that pattern on there. It's completely free. You can download, so you can make your own fall pumpkin banner, and then just kind of get the tips that Janessa was talking about this time.
Yeah, fun. And yeah, we keep going in and out of our connection with Sun Valley Quilts, and maybe the Arizona or Utah weather, something's going on that it's not playing nice today. But we really enjoyed having them on. I can add them back in here. We're just having some internet problems, but since we haven't had a whole ton of opportunity to talk with them, make sure you can see us at the show, because they're really great people to interact with. So
yes, and if you registered for this event or the last event, they gathered all those registrations on our platform. That is your first initial entry into the grand prize package of the Cutie, the 8-pack of finesse thread, and 4-pack of bungees. So if you'd like a second chance to be entered for that prize, go down to Scottsdale at the end of the month, beginning of September, see Jarek and Lynn and Barbara, and go get entered to win. They'll have another little place for you to enter to win. And so then we'll give away that at the end of that event.
Awesome. Yeah. And thank you so much, Lynn and Barbara. I know we have a little bit of a delay going on here, but maybe you want to say goodbye to everyone here and just, it's going to take a second.
It might take a second to say goodbye. It looks like they might be paused.
She's explaining about how to get another entry towards the Cutie.
I think there's just a little delay with theirs. So, so we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks, everybody. Again, contact Lynn and Barbara. Their contact information is on the page. Go down and see them, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.
See you, everyone.